What makes you want to do journalism when you're going to places, seeing some of the events that's going on around, like the homicides, the killings, the house fires, all the stuff that's traumatic. Like, what makes you still want to pursue and attack that dream or that goal that you achieved already?
So when I was a little kid, my grandmother would always be the one that people would come to for help. Because we lived in the project, she would hear people next door who might be fighting or whatever, and she'd talk to them and tell them, hey, cut this out. As a kid, I'd go outside, I'd see things, people get shot, or you hear things, people getting hurt. Um, I always had an interest in telling our stories and making sure that we could do things to kind of repair. I didn't understand it back then, but repair our community. So one of the stories I recently told on the podcast dealt with. You ever heard of Prince?
Hmm.
So I was maybe 13 or 14, and I bought his new album. Actually, it was cassette, and I was listening to it and fell asleep one day. It was on a Sunday, and I woke up, magically went to the window, and I watched as a guy with a gun walked down the street, went into one of the apartments across the street, and I heard 5 shots. And each shot, up to the third or fourth shot, there was a grunt from a woman. He then just calmly walked out and then walked away. And then I heard the mom scream the girl's name. She had been nursing her baby at the table when she was shot in the head 5 times, right?
Mm.
So I was immediately like, what in the world is going on? And I wanted to find out what was happening. And I had seen where people had been shot before, but nothing would ever be reported on TV. So I called the TV station and asked about it. And, from there, it kind of clicked. We have stories that we need to tell. And maybe there's a way, if we tell some of these stories, that we could find some solution. Now, that's how I think, for the trouble that we have. Today, I'm writing these stories because I really deeply care about our community. It doesn't matter who is hurt or whatever the case may be. And I've covered other stories besides homicides. The space shuttle when it blew up back in 2003. You ever heard of the Pulse nightclub? That's where 50 people, 49 people were killed in the club. I covered that. Any number of cases, but I want our stories to be told, and it is. We must listen to other people. We must listen to other people's stories, because a little bit of what they are going through is what we need to maybe solve or maybe address. So that's what drives me, the mission to tell people stories, and not just tell them, but also help to find solutions, if that makes sense. It's like when I give out books to the kids with my group. I might write about someone who got hurt in their family, but I'm not just there to write about the bad stuff, but also to say, hey, here's something good that we can do to make things better.
Mhm.
If that makes sense.
I got you.
Yeah.